Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is another normal-ass normal game sent in by you, the fans, to Lifesaglitchtv at gmail.com. Mr. Maximus Black.
Yes.
Hit me up with the sound of erotically and seductively describing a mouth-watering plate of sushi. That comes in from David.
Oh, I just can't wait to put that fish in my mouth and chomp down in on the salmon fishiness with the sticky rice. Dip some soy sauce all up in it. A slice of gingy. Oh.
You're gonna cleanse your palate with a ginger?
You damn right. Cleansing it. Getting a cleansing in.
Fuck. Oh God. You know what? there's a sushi shop in Spryfield, and for the longest time I was like, man, I can't eat Spryfield sushi. There's something fucked up about that.
Spryfield sushi. The good old Spryfield sushi.
I felt like I've just taken my life into my own hand. Like, that shit sounds to me worse than like gas station sushi or something.
Okay,
shit.
I don't know. Let's not go that far.
No, but like, it just in my head, I couldn't get over, in my head, like, I was like, who the fuck? Anyway, but M took the bullet, and not bad. It's actually pretty decent. Run by a nice family. They got all the typical Asian family. They got like nothing but young, like
kids running around.
Girls,
I've been in there
running around, and they're helping, like they're at the register and shit, whatever the fuck. And so like I had it. I was like, all right, it's not bad. I still don't know if I'm gonna get it for myself, but I can't. It's a. I mean, you grew up in Spryfield. You feel like you associate sushi and Spryfield with some crazy shit.
Yeah, but Spryfield's on its way up, man. It's gentrified.
Bro, ain't gonna be another fucking. You know what? I was thinking about this the other day. I'm interested in your thoughts. As soon as they put that building on the corner across from Mary Brown's.
Yeah. Mary Brown's. Where's that at?
Yeah, Mary Brown's there now at the where the Frenchies used to be.
Okay, yes. Oh yeah, that building. Yes,
right,
yes,
so they
yes,
got
yes,
the new
yes.
building that's there.
Used to be an old gas station.
When that. Yeah, and then it was an empty lot for like fucking 15,
forever.
20 years, right?
Yep,
like,
yep.
Yeah. And somebody finally got a permit to put a fucking building there of all things. But when that went in, that's when I realized, I said, okay, it's not gonna happen quick, but we're hitting gentrification territory.
Yeah.
The moment that kind of a building goes in. So I think we got another. I think we're about 15 years away from.
I don't think that
having
long.
A discussion about whether or not the 500 block should still be there.
Oh, okay, okay, that's possible, but I don't think we're 15 years away from like full blown. I think we're like 60-70% of the way there now. Well, like deep inside in that area. Oh, that sounded deep inside.
Wow.
It's really going somewhere. But anyway, you know what else is happening?
Yes.
A nice attack.
He's about to be deep inside this base.
No, I don't think so. I think the Cyclone's gonna go deep inside of these Billie Jeans, and they're gonna moonwalk their way out back into that bunker. And they're gonna go deep inside that bunker. That's the only thing they're going deep inside. And you know what? This is a Nang, but I wouldn't necessarily call this a full-blown cheese. He put one racks up there, and that's pretty much it.
It's on the doorstep of cheese.
Yeah, it is, but it's not full-blown, so we'll let it slide. No. We'll let it. Everything else in behind is all right. Exactly. It is a pretty bullshit build. It's worse when they get Widow Mines. And they run Widow Mines around, and then they go right into, like, there's this new build that's going around where they'll do a 1-1-1, and they'll get out. Okay, he's going for the Banshee thing, but they'll open up with with Reapers, and then they'll immediately tech into Widow Mines. And then they'll get a starport, they'll get one medevac, and they'll drop the Widow Mines. But then while they're doing that, they're transitioning quickly into Thor. So they'll put the armory down, because the armory's already going to go down, so that they have the cloak for their tunneling claws or whatever the fuck it is for the Widow Mines. So the armory is already out, and I think I explained this last week. You just need an armory. That's it. You get an armory. There's no upgrade in it. No nothing. You just get the armory. And suddenly, the Widow Mines cannot be detected as they're burrowed after they let off a charge. So since the armory is already out, they immediately go into Thor. And then when they get a Thor, they pull a bunch of SCVs and they just surround the Thor. And then they all in. Dude, that build is so fucking hard to defend against. It's insane. It is insane.
We had a name for that back in the day.
Well,
I mean, it was for a Zerg build.
The Zerg?
We called it the Circle of Life.
Oh, that is right. That is right. Well, maybe it's a very similar. It's a very similar one for the Terran. This one is also a pretty nasty build. Banshees are just not fun to deal with, but much easier to deal with as a Terran player because you have scans and you know. But as a Protoss or even a Zerg and Ravens, exactly. Ravens are so good, man. They're like super good. They're super good harassing units. So you can put down the turrets in the back, and they just melt everything so fast. You know, there's a big.
They're expensive though. Like it's an investment to be you know pulling. You have to be careful about unless you're Ketrick going mass Raven 7 years ago.
He's still doing his thing, man. He's still doing his thing. He's still out there on ladder. I still I think I bumped into him there a couple weeks ago, or at least somebody said it was him.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Oh,
yeah, he's still doing his thing. There's still some old guards that are doing the StarCraft thing, so it's always good to see. Wow, what do we got going on here? So we had some harassment.
We've kind of reset.
We did. Banshee's gonna get a free kill here. That's a free tank. You love to see it.
Well, to be a bit late to the party on this segue, the gentrification that was attempting to be happening here with Bladevision. Seth asks, Jeff, not counting hatches or nexuses or nexi and command centers, what is the most valuable real estate for each race?
So structure?
Yeah, I think that's what he's getting at. Yeah.
Spawning pool for Zerg. The barracks for Terran, and the gateway for Protoss.
It's at the base of the tech tree.
Yeah, I mean, without
ignoring the tech tree because it kind of like.
Okay.
So just what do you think it's the most
value? Hydralisk Den for Zerg.
All right. Yeah.
The factory for Terran. And I'm gonna go the Stargate for Protoss. Yeah. So I think the Stargate it's a little bit more viable these days than what the Robo is. I find Robo units for Protoss are pretty lackluster at this point. Colossus are useless. They're literally useless. They get outranged by lurkers when you got Thermal Lance. They're garbar. Like, they are so bad.
Yeah.
They've just nerfed the living fuck out of them. Disruptors are fantastic, but disruptors are like get out of jail free type units, or in theory should be used like against lurkers. But of course you got to hit a lurker twice with the disruptor. So and then the Immortal is a pretty fucking good unit around. But I think with the things that Phoenix can do, Oracles can do, Void Rays and Carriers, I think it just outweighs in this state of the game. I have to go with Stargate.
Yeah, I agree. You could almost make the case just by Oracles alone.
Yeah, they're good.
Like,
they're good units.
You get a couple of them, and just as a harass, like there's very few units in the Protoss arsenal from a harassment standpoint that can accomplish so much with so little than an Oracle. You get scouting information. You get extended scouting information in some instances, depending on if you use
Revelation
skill or not.
Yeah.
And then Revelation, and then you've got really even with one, the amount of like economic damage you can do on an unsuspecting person is just kind of
not only that, they're very mobile, so like you can get around the map very quickly. You can get scouting done with them, and then the big thing is the stasis. It's like I love stasis. Stasis has won me so many games. Like, I mean, I almost exclusively go Oracles when I'm playing against Zerg, and I love to do that initial harassment, try and do a lot of damage, keep my Oracles alive if I can, and then when I'm teching up, when I'm building, I put stasis here, and then when they come and they attack, if you capture like 10, 15 units, suddenly you can just go and clean up the other half of their army, and then when they unstace, when they get unfrozen, then you kill the rest. And you can even get fancy and put down another stasis, like right in front of or behind them, and then when they get unfrozen, they move, they get frozen again. There's so many cool things that you can do with them. Holy Ravens, Batman. He is going to Raven Army.
Yeah.
You know, I like it. Is this Kettrick himself? Because here we go. I mean, that is a whole...
I feel like if it was Kettrick, he'd already have won. But
True.
In this instance, it's just a lot of Ravens that unfortunately, against another Terran, you know, that has Ravens themselves and are coming in with that many Marines, I mean, you have to really know what you're doing and where to place your turrets to maximize it. Otherwise, you blow through your energy. And we're already seeing Bladevision right now is actually really low. He's got maybe one more round of turrets after this to make this work. And as long as Dlinqnt isn't insane and, like, I don't know, walks directly into them for no reason because they're going to disappear, like, in their own time anyway, then he's probably okay here as he brings some reinforcements. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot of Ravens, and you know, Dlinqnt still has to be careful.
Yeah, it's a really annoying build to go up against, too, because you're... got some free kills there. 4 free Ravens. A 4th about to go down now. No, he doesn't get the 4th, but that's okay. He's forcing a lot of energy to go off. Now he's bombing these bitches, and the turrets are taking off the rest of the Marines. This is a very annoying build that Blade is doing. He is turtling. He is doing the thing that I absolutely despise, but he is also losing a lot of Ravens right now. He's now only got 4 left in that army. He's overstimming a little bit, but I think it's worth if he can get these 2 other Ravens. They got no energy, and now the terrain is going to cuck them. But yeah, look at this. All the planetary fortresses just sitting there. And he's just sitting behind while his opponent sitting on 2 base. He is getting nukes possibly, though. He's got some ghosts. I don't know if he's just doing that just to get some ghosts, or he's actually going to go the nuke route. And I think the nuke route is the route to go if you can get off a couple of them at once to blow shit up. Unfortunately, Cloak is pretty much going to be useless because you're up against an army of Ravens. So it's not like, you know, you really need the Cloak. But if you can get off a couple of nukes, you might be able to get through it, because getting rid of these planetary fortresses, damn near fucking impossible. Especially when you've got a bunch of Ravens throwing down a shit ton of turrets, just making your life hell.
Oh, 100%.
Look at how much damage these things do.
Oh, they're insane.
Like, look at this. Look at the DPS. He's gonna kill this command.
Oh yeah, in just one volley of them. I think that there's a case to be made that the turrets either need to do less damage or their lifespan needs to be a bit shorter. Not dramatic. I don't think, because if you gotta be
it's
careful,
already pretty short.
If you too much, they're gonna be, you know, they're gonna be basically useless. But maybe just turn the damage knob down just a hair. Yeah. Because the thought of I think for me, if I'm making an RTS, and obviously it'd probably be garbage, but I think for me, if I'm making RTS, one of the things that I would want to make a goal for balance, if I am trying to balance it for competitive, is that it shouldn't really be viable to max a single unit type. Yeah. You should always have to require some other support structure around it, because if you're just going to be able to mass one unit, then I find that that's just kind of silly. And this is one of those instances where you can very easily, and as Kettrick has done, up to very high levels of play. I mean, this isn't like a build that just works,
this is diamond.
You know, until you're in gold, right? Yeah, like, this is a build that's viable all the way up damn near to Grandmasters. I don't know Kettrick Grandmaster or not, probably. But, you know, that I think is indicative of maybe the unit being, you know, they could claw it back a little bit. Now, that being said, I guess maybe why it hasn't happened is, to my knowledge, I haven't seen mass Raven like this done in pro play. I haven't watched that much pro play. Maybe it does happen, but I don't remember hearing much. I feel like I'd hear about it more. Yeah. You know, when you hear about this, it's a Kettrick. Like, you don't hear about...
Well, I mean,
shit happening.
I mean, I think it's safe to say that it probably doesn't happen, at least frequently, because if it did, that's the only time Blizzard ever balances the game, is for the top 10, 15 people that play the game. So, you know, meanwhile, when you're playing down in high diamond, masters, high masters, even low GM, and you're a ladder hero, there's a lot of things that are, you know, imbalanced, like perfectly imbalanced, that get abused. because it requires a lot more skill to stop than it does to use. And, you know, I've built my career, my competitive play around just that. And I'm not, like, big enough or stubborn enough or have too much pride to admit that. I found what I was really good at, which is micro, and I tried to abuse specific builds the best that I can to complement my playstyle. And, you know, that's the reason why, you know, I've always had a bit of a ceiling. Yeah, I've gotten Grandmasters several times. Yeah, I believe I could get Grandmasters again if I really dedicated a lot of time to the game again. And I'm not talking about just playing it for a few weeks. I'm talking about 3 to 6 months, taking some coaching, really getting out of my comfort zone, finding the, you know, I'm starting to really understand the meta now because I have played quite a bit of StarCraft over the last month. But it just, you see it all the time in my ladder games. It's not even just me. Is there are specific builds that are very abusable that may not be imbalanced at the very high level because mechanically they are so good that you can't, those things just don't work at that level, right? It's like going into the UFC. It's like, you know, yeah, we're all playing, we're all fighting in on the prelims, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, Dana White might give us some cans to fight, and you know we might be, or maybe a better analogy would be, say you're a striker, say you're. I
was literally about to talk about what's her face.
There you go.
The Holly Holm.
There
that
you
was
go.
Like the pure
Perfect.
boxer.
Perfect. Perfect example. You've got Holly Holm, who is a kickboxer. And then you've got Ronda Rousey, who only knows judo, and that's what she would go in there, and she would armbar people in 15 fucking seconds. It became a meme where you'd get the pay-per-view and you started watching her whole fight on a TikTok reel, like on a like whatever,
like a short. It was a Twitter video.
It was like, or like a Vine.
At the time, that
it was like Vine or whatever.
Yeah.
So you'd see it that very, very quickly. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see. But then you go up against Holly Holm, who's a much more well-rounded fighter who keeps the distance, and Ronda goes, whoa, this ain't part of the script. I'm so used to just going in here and proxy void raiding. Why ain't I just winning the game? And Ronda's like, bitch, you ain't. I have reach, I have height. I'm a way better striker. You gotta get me down in order to fucking do what you gotta do. What you do. I ain't letting you get close. It's the same thing in StarCraft. You get at these levels, there are builds that are super abusable that really work on the lower and even in the high tier, and then that's that. I made the argument, and there's a ton of people here that are probably like, Jeff, just shut up and cast the game. Listen, this is no, all right, but I've seen it. And I know everybody watching this, if you're a diehard StarCraft fan, a lot of content creators, what do? I had this conversation. Oh, I actually kind of want to see this. Give me a second. I've had this conversation. Sorry, Adam. I have to, and I know you're in a bit of a rush tonight.
Go for it.
But
no, it's all good.
But I've seen content creators do this specific thing, because I've been grinding ladder, and people are like, "Yo, Jeff, why aren't you moving up faster?" I'm like, dude. Ladder is ladder hell. The way it's designed, nobody really climbs the ladder consecutively all the time. You hit a plateau, you fall quite a bit, you learn a little bit, you go just a little bit higher, then you fall hard again. And if you're doing that, you're doing something right. What a lot of StarCraft 2 content creators do is they do bronze to masters, or bronze to diamond, and they make a new account over and over and over and over and over again. And they do this because then they can go and do these wacky builds. They can go Mass Raven, they can go Mass BC, they can do Widow Mines only, they can do these weird unorthodox builds that are exciting and fun to watch, and they're crazy, but they get away with it because their talent, their mechanical ability is so much higher than the people that they're playing that they just win. It's that simple. And it's the main reasons why you could see, I am sure that you took Cyril or any of these other top StarCraft 2 players and you put them against me. They would make me look foolish, and they would do foolish shit that like would be memey and they would fuck me up because I'm just not. But yet they could not do the same thing against players at their same level. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
All right.
100%.
Just want to make sure that makes sense. And that's StarCraft. And that's the reason why this Raven build, it's not working here, I don't think. I think it's going to be close. He doesn't have much energy left. He's about to lose all of these Ravens, I think.
No. Yeah, you can't afford to do that. I mean, there's almost no reason to have your Ravens sit on top of the turrets that they drop.
Oh shit. Oh, that's bad. Those are missile turrets.
Oh, no.
Those are a lot of missile turrets. Oh, God.
No, GG!
Wow, he left the game, and that's so Raven. I mean, dude had a lot of shit. Why did he just leave?
Bro, first of all, what the fuck did I just see there? This man's surrounding his shit with barracks and what, like, fuck me.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he just didn't want to play a 70-minute TVT turtle game. Because this guy.
At that point, I mean, just take all your SCVs with your Ravens and just go.
Yeah, just a move.
And just
you have Marines
and see what happens.
Yeah, you've got tanks, Ravens, Marines, SCVs. I mean, I think actually you might be right, Adam. You might actually. He might. I think if he moved, I mean, obviously you'd have to use his Ravens abilities and his turrets and stuff and be semi-aware of what he's doing. But there ain't a whole lot here, bro. There ain't a whole lot here. And Bladevision has 5,500 minerals and 246 base. I mean, this one's mined out. This one's mined out. So, but I mean, dude,
he could have flipped into literally anything other than
Ravens and won.
And probably still been okay and probably won the game.
Yeah. I mean, one way or another.
All those barracks. He could have just been cranking out fucking Marines this whole time and then just like followed up or anything. But instead he left the game. He rage quit because he's not Ketrick. He rage quit the game. But,
yeah.
You know, well done.
Dlinqnt, he pulled it off. I mean, he had to hold this. I mean, we got to give props to Dlinqnt here for even staying alive.
He pulled it off.
Yeah, he pulled it off. And I mean, this ain't a small army. I mean, he's got a decent amount of stuff still. So it's not like, you know, he was guaranteed to lose the game, but I don't think Bladevision was completely out of it. But, you know, solid game nonetheless. This right here, I know I come off as a Terran hater, and I kind of am. And I try to be as not, because I know there's probably a lot of people that watch that play Terran are just like, Jeff, shut up, you know, it's Terran. But seeing this is precisely all of this turtling and this shit. This is why I could never play Terran. Every game feels like it's going to be fucking 30 plus minutes long. And it's just turtling. It's a game of inches. And I just don't find it particularly exciting to play. Shoutouts to those that do, but that ain't it for me. So, there it is. I've ranted enough. I felt like you haven't said anything this cast, and I just ran my mouth.
Hey, sometimes, you know, I do that often. And so, you know, it's only fair that you get to do it too.
Hey. Well,
I ain't complaining.
Hit that like button then. Hit that motherfucking like button. Head on over to patreon.com/LAGTV and support so I can keep yapping my mouth.